organizadora o no? But, I think it's important that's also done.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos de las redes sociales? Les damos la más cordial bienvenida al foro que vamos a tener aquí con algunos de los candidatos al Senado del Estado de California por el distrito número 28. Cabe mencionar que para ese distrito están corriendo 5 candidatos, 3 demócratas y 2 republicanos, de los cuales los 5 fueron invitados y solo 2 estarán con nosotros el día de hoy. Aquí conmigo se encuentra la regidora de la ciudad de Coachella y además también organizadora de este evento, Megan Beeman. Bienvenida con nosotros. Por favor, ¿nos puedes decir por qué es importante este foro?
El foro es muy importante para nosotros porque, nos reunimos muchos grupos de la comunidad para proveer ese espacio, para escuchar de los 5 candidatos y para saber de sus posiciones en asuntos que son importantes para nosotros sin cobro y pues en una manera accesible a la comunidad.
Sabemos que hay muchas preguntas que ya fueron prehechas por los mismos residentes aquí del Valle de Coachella. ¿Cuáles son algunos de los temas más importantes que se van a tratar el día de hoy?
Pues vamos a tratar de, en una manera breve, pues tratar de los más importantes de nuestro punto de vista que tienen que ver con inmigración, trabajo, la situación económica y la manera en general que se resuelvan los problemas más importantes en la región, incluyendo lo de la laguna Salton Sea.
Perfecto, ¿se va a abrir preguntas al público o cómo va a estar estructurado?
Para que esté muy estructurado y controlado, tenemos ciertas preguntas ya prehechas, que los candidatos todavía no saben de esas preguntas, y también entiendo que vamos a invitar preguntas de los que están mirando en vivo, y posiblemente vamos a escoger unas preguntas claves de ahí también.
Perfecto, muchísimas gracias Megan. Así que las preguntas que vayan teniendo conforme vayan escuchando las respuestas y las propuestas de los candidatos, las pueden ir dejando aquí por las redes sociales, aquí por Facebook, y nosotros, si tenemos el tiempo, le vamos a estar preguntando a los candidatos sus preguntas. En unos momentos más comenzamos.
TV station. Okay. Televisión.
Her nose up. She never goes anywhere. She only goes there when she can get some endorsements. And then we still go anywhere at the public event or something else. We just where, you know, you're going to get help. And then
Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon. Does this work? Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks everyone for coming to our forum today for the candidates for the 28th District State Senate. We invited all 5 candidates to this forum, and we're really happy to have 2 of the 5 candidates here, as well as 1 proxy who will read an introductory statement on behalf of a 3rd candidate. My name is Megan Beeman Jacinto. I'm joined here by my colleagues Claudia Galvez and Jacqueline Rubalcaba Lopez, as well as a number of other Coachella Valley leaders and representatives of Mujeres Advancing Leadership, Advocacy, and Success. We at MALAS are aligning for the advancement of women's leadership and success and moving advocacy efforts forward to improve the well-being and justice for all of our communities.
We are very proud to join our compañeros from Comité Latino and East-West Alliance to provide the community the opportunity to hear from our state's candidates today. We very much value the work that each of you do in the Coachella Valley each day. In these difficult times, everyone has a role in making sure our communities are healthy, prosperous, and empowered. And we are hopeful that whoever is elected will share and help us realize that vision.
Today's forum is meant to be informal and will be facilitated by the stellar Univision reporters. The format is as follows. Regina Yurita, sitting right here, of Univision will ask each questions, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond. There will be no debate or other response to one another's answers. The questions that will be asked today were pre-formulated and were not provided to the candidates ahead of time. Throughout the forum, Univision will be live streaming and interacting with viewers in English and Spanish, seeking an additional 1 to 2 questions from live stream viewers to provide to the candidates. We appreciate the attendance of those who are already supporting one candidate or another, as well as those who have yet to make up their minds. Please be respectful of one another and other candidates, regardless of your preferences. With that, I will turn it over to Regina.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Regina Yurita. I work for Univision and NBC Palm Springs. I'd like to say thank you for all coming here. It's very important to actually hear from potential candidates who will serve our district, and it's important because this is our community, so we want to know what their plans are in the future. So with that being said, we're going to get started, but first I want each of the candidates to sort of introduce themselves. We want to know where you come from, sort of what you've done, and yeah. So we'll start with, let's see, Elizabeth first, and then we'll go with Anna, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you to all of the people who put this event on and are allowing us the opportunity to connect. And so I'd like to actually start by saying muchísimas gracias a todos que nos están escuchando hoy también. Y a los que tomaron el tiempo para organizar este evento. Es muy importante tener un foro para poder hablar de los temas que son importantes para nuestras comunidades. Mi nombre es Elizabeth Romero y soy candidata para el Distrito 28. Los últimos 20 años de mi carrera han sido dedicados a esta comunidad. Yo soy la única persona que nació en el distrito y es del este del Valle de Coachella. Yo he dedicado mi carrera en trabajar en asuntos de salud, salud pública, educación. Ahorita sirvo como asistente rectora en la Universidad de Riverside y también sirvo en la mesa directiva del condado de Riverside, donde he estado en los últimos 13 años. Ha sido un gran placer ser miembro de esa comunidad y estar integrada en todo lo que hacemos para asegurarnos que nuestras comunidades tengan los recursos que necesitan para sobresalir. My name is Elizabeth Romero, and I have the great honor to serve as the only homegrown candidate in this race. I was born and raised in the district. I actually am from the eastern Coachella Valley, and have dedicated the last 20 years of my career to serving this region. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked for 2 county supervisors. I've worked in philanthropy and currently serve as Assistant Vice Chancellor of Governmental and Community Relations for UC Riverside, where I'm helping bridge access not only to higher education, but to basic needs and issues that are important to students in our communities, and more importantly, helping build an economy that is robust and has a well-prepared workforce to help meet the needs of this district. I also serve on the Riverside County Board of Education, where I've been for over 13 years. I've worked on issues of educational justice, and I've ensured that we have a representative voice from this region on the County Board of Education. It's been a great pleasure to serve all of you, and again, thank you to the organizers. Muchas gracias a las personas que nos están escuchando de sus casas. Thank you to those that are watching us today from your homes. Look forward to the questions.
Nice. So we can get a little bit from Anna now.
Well, thank you for organizing this event. I came here about 4 decades ago to the Bay Area, and I have been an agitator ever since I came. I joined the movement for Healthcare for All. That was the first organization. I was fighting with my other groups for against the industrial, against the militarism, and against prison construction and all these other issues that are affecting the thousands of lives. And so we even fought for public financing. We almost passed the legislation about 25 years ago. It was so close, but it didn't happen. And so I believe that the only way to really have a system that people need is to have public financing of the campaigns. I am a registered nurse, and in my healthcare profession I have talked to thousands of people from all walks of life, so I understand what it means to have universal health coverage. We have lost too many people who became chronically ill, who became disabled, and they became a burden to the society. We have many children who were born with problems because their mothers have no prenatal care. We have, sometimes in the high school, we have 20% of the kids who are in the special ed classes, which they shouldn't be, because many of them have issues from early childhood that were never addressed. So they put many of kids on the Ritalin. This is an addictive drug, and that is a big problem, as opposed to helping the kids to see what the problems are. Many of them have lead in their blood, and they develop, they don't mentally develop well, although there is a not medication, high doses of vitamin K, they get rid of all their lead in the blood. But we do not test the children. There is a law that we should. So we are losing too many children to the special education and are not able to achieve their full potential because of the bad policies. And the only reason that I've been running a number of times is because I see the solution to every problem, either to the homelessness, either to our young people who are addicted to drugs, or our veterans who came addicted to drugs, because they give them medication there as well, so they will stay alert. They give them amphetamines, which is very addictive medication. So the problems are very deep. And I was very concerned because I care so much about the humanity. Wherever you are, there are problems. And if we do something, if we have some kind of power, but without money or without political power, people don't hear it. And we are paying a big price as a society. And I'm concerned especially for the young generation, because we are leaving them catastrophic problems. And that is the driving force behind my campaign. I learned this. Yo estudio español a la escuela porque yo soy una enfermera. Es muy importante que yo comprendo los pacientes. Yo necesito más practicarme, me comprendo más que yo hablo. So, for this reason, I try to encourage young people to get involved. We only have change with mass movements. If we don't have mass movements, nothing will change. So I wrote a few books as well. One of them is Out of the Shadow, to show the power of one, to show that one person always makes a difference to history. And they are behind most movements who helped us to achieve the today democratic way of life. And so I encourage everybody to educate their young people about the importance, not just about voting, but learning about the history and knowing what the truth is. Because we get lots of misinformation and propaganda that comes from both sides, that we are the best country in the world, and therefore shut up and don't complain. And that is not so, because if you compare with other countries, there are more technologically advanced than we are. And we have to think about this new economy. We have to make sure that every child is prepared for the new economy, because they're going to be robots taking over many, many jobs. And we are not prepared to train them well, but they don't have a metric system in the school. That's why they are behind. They don't enter engineering school. They don't enter as many the high-tech jobs because they are behind from Chinese kids or the European kids because they have metric system. So so there are so many things we must do to change, and only mass movements will bring the change. That's why I say, please get involved, pass out to your grandchildren and your children that they have to do it for the better economy, so that will be a shared economy. Right now we're going to have all trillionaires if we don't do something with this new technology. They're going to be getting robots to do the work, and people are not going to have jobs, which means we must cut the hours to 4 to 5 hours, because this is predicted. If you have a high technology, people will be working less and less. Here in our country, they're working more and more and getting less and less. So thank you for listening, and I hope you pass on my message.
Thank you, Anna. Unfortunately, Joy Silver couldn't make it today, but we do have our former Coachella mayor, Silvia Montenegro,
who's actually going to speak on her behalf and introduce who she is.
Good afternoon. I am Silvia Montenegro, and I am here on behalf of Joyce Silver, the California Democratic Party endorsed candidate for Senate District 28. She sends her regrets as she is unable to be here today due to a commitment she made a month ago, and she looks forward to additional opportunities to speak to everyone. She has asked me to read her opening statement. I am a policeman's daughter from a working-class family, and I understand what it means to struggle just to make ends meet. I attended public schools and a state university. But I am also the kid who had to leave home at an early age, a kid who found herself out on the street with no family support, cardboard in my shoes, no winter coat, and often forced to choose between a bar of soap and a can of beans. I became sick and medicated and saved my life. I understand the value of programs that are designed to help people in times of need. I am a fighter, and to this day I stand up against injustice wherever I find it. I have served on many boards throughout my career, but more importantly, I have the real-life skills and experience needed to get things done in Sacramento. I had a career in healthcare, where I started as a community outreach worker and then worked my way up to become an executive of that facility. I went on to build a senior living community, starting the business from the ground up, and in California became certified as a senior care residential administrator. Today I work with a nonprofit, Affordable Housing Development, building affordable housing communities right here in Riverside County. Here's why I am running. I am running to develop the renewable energy economy, bringing jobs and career education to Riverside County, finding alternatives to fossil fuels, and fixing the salts. I am running because Riverside County needs more affordable housing and to tackle the homelessness crisis. I am running because Riverside County needs more affordable housing and to tackle the homelessness crisis. I am running because our state needs health care for all, including long-term care. No one should have to choose between seeing a doctor and eating that late, like I once did. I came a close second in the 2018 election, historically winning more votes than any Democratic candidate. After making calls to make sure the field was clear for a 2022 run, I filed, announced, and declared my candidacy in January of 2019. I have never stopped running. I have worked hard and long to unite Democrats from Coachella to Temecula. That's why my campaign staff and volunteers include moderates, independents, and progressives, all united to win. I am ready to fight for our fair share of state funding, crack down on corruption, and most importantly, no who's funding campaigns, because there is no integrity in taking money from people or corporations that are working against us. My experiences getting things done have brought me all over the world, where I have learned how others find solutions to their societal challenges, from California to Beijing, China. Because you will always find me out in communities wherever help is needed, like here in the district at Adelanto Detention Center, helping a resident return to his family, helping cities in Coachella Valley pass the Sanctuary City Resolution, passed so that the California Values Act could get passed, organizing and bringing clothes and mats to sleep on, personal hygiene, items, and other volunteers at a moment's notice when refugees and immigrants needed them, helping to bring visibility to border kindness so it could do its much-needed heroic work. Standing with the protesters at the border control to support fair treatment of undocumented immigrants. Producing and organizing major actions against keeping kids in cages. In the city of Coachella, supporting the organizer renaming Harrison Avenue to Cesar Chavez at this time. Knocking on doors to get other candidates elected, and working with the Salton Sea Coalition to get the Sea-to-Sea solution passed. I am not a career politician. I am running to get things done. I am already doing it. That's why my endorsements include the Democratic Party, the LGBT caucus, the Jewish caucus, California Now, Lieutenant Governor Konolakis, State Treasurer Fiona Mott, Senators Leiva, Allen, Jackson, and Moni, Dolores Huerta, Comité Latino of Coachella Valley, the Chicano Latino Caucus of San Bernardino, unions like ATU Local 1277, Teamsters Joint 42 Council, Latinas Kathleen Fitzpatrick, Desert Hot Springs Russ Betts, Lake Elsa North Timothy Sheridan, former mayor of Coachella, Silvia Montenegro, Greg Lucas Rodriguez from the supervisor's office, and dozens of community leaders. I am ready on day one. Let's finish what we started. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on behalf of Joy Silver.
Thank you, Joy Silver. It was really nice for her to at least write a statement, even though she couldn't make it. And thank you, Elizabeth and Anna, for introducing yourselves and letting us know who you guys are. With that, we're going to start off the debate and start with our first question. So now that we know, where you guys come from, who you guys are, we want to know some of your achievements as a leader and how you plan to build those achievements once elected as state senate. With that, I will start with Anna. Can you please just state sort of 3 achievements once you, if you are elected as state senate?
We will have universal health care, because as a care professional, I will explain how less costly it is to insure everybody than to do what we are doing. And the solution is not as complicated as it is, but we have to get the insurance for special needs.
Bring the mic closer.
But we have to get the influence of the big money out of the process, because the insurance company doesn't like it, or hospital association don't like it, so we have to do what people like it. And the only person who maybe will be able to persuade the others that we have to pass the health care, universal health care, not some band-aid approach. We had that for 40 years, it doesn't work. Secondly, there is a way to help every child to become a success story. When they have problems, when they are 6, 7 years old, we intervene and we help them then. We don't let them be behind, and then the first tutorial services they have at the college level. We should have tutorial services in the middle school and high school, and hiring the students who are good students to help their own. And that would solve our problems with the high school dropout, and even if you graduate, you are not equipped for the new job of the new economy. And thirdly, the drug rehabilitation is very important. We have very high population of drug addicts, veterans, young people, older people, but 85% never receive any rehabilitation. So if we provide rehabilitation and we provide job training, they would be successful human beings, they would be producing, they wouldn't be in prison, and they are taking the precious resources and nobody is benefiting by it. As a nurse, I know addiction is a disease, and it has to be treated as such. And I know as a nurse what you can do to help addicts. Not everybody has to go into rehabilitation clinics that cost $3,000 a day. But you could do it with medication. There is a medication called methadone. There is another medication called Buprine that cuts the craving, and we don't use any of these things. Some states are doing it because they know it's necessary.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to give,
Thank you for
thank
the
you.
question.
I'm going to give Elizabeth some time to answer this question too. If we can hear from you now.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So as far as achievements, I mean, there are definitely many that I can highlight in terms of my career. But I'm going to focus on kind of the big bucket areas that are also the focus of our campaign. I'll start with healthcare. In my role as the Director of Government and Community Relations at Planned Parenthood, we were at the forefront of enrolling people into the Affordable Care Act. We enrolled over 17,000 people who otherwise wouldn't have had access to health care into sustainable long-term health care opportunities to have real coverage. I've also worked on ensuring that we have the right infrastructure in terms of our healthcare systems. So I was the founding director of Building Healthy Communities in Eastern Coachella Valley, which was the precursor to what is now Alianza. And I brought together over 80 organizations, individuals, residents, to take action, to build priorities and ensure that we had real solutions that were community-based, that were informed also by research, and that we were able to work on addressing unmet healthcare needs, focusing on issues like asthma in and around the Salton Sea. And we brought researchers and community members to work on those issues. I've also worked on ensuring that we have more doctors who are meeting the unmet health needs of our region. So as in my role at UC Riverside, I helped leverage $100 million to build a new facility, new healthcare education facility to train and double the number of doctors that we're producing from for the state of California, from 250 to 500 doctors. In that, I've also helped bridge relationships between our medical communities. I serve on the board of directors for Desert Regional Medical Center. And in that, I'm an advocate from inside to ensure that we have full cultural competency, that we're expanding access to our more underserved communities. As far as education is concerned, am I up on time? Okay, I'll be happy to share more on education in a future question. Thank you for the time too. I think that's helpful.
You kind of mentioned it, and this kind of goes into my next question, but one of the big issues that we have here is the Salton Sea. I know that the government has allocated a lot of money, but we want to know sort of the plans that you guys have as far as long-term plans as well as short-term plans, because this has been affecting our community. So since you kind of talked about it, I'll start with you.
Okay, great. So obviously we have a Salton Sea mitigation plan that has been approved, that's been a long time in development in terms of getting mitigation strategies for the Salton Sea. I think what's really important is having somebody with strong leadership and is able to bring people together to bridge the conversation around the strategies. I'm that person. I have the relationships with the multiple jurisdictions that are working on the Salton Sea solution. I'm endorsed by Supervisor Manuel Perez, Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, Congressman Raul Ruiz, as well as I've worked with many of the water district agencies and others that are actually have the ability to move this forward. My experience in working in Sacramento can actually leverage the relationships that we need to drill down the funding that's needed. There's $220 million that's been allocated in the budget. You need somebody who understands the budgetary process to actually get things done. That's what I've done in my career. I think it's important to also have somebody who understands research and is able to arrive at solutions and listen and engage on all of the different solutions. There are several proposals out there for the Salton Sea. And I think depending on who you talk to, that's who thinks their solution is the best solution. I think what you need is somebody who's going to be a thoughtful leader who can actually approach this in a way that allows us to fully take care of the sea issues that are there now, address the environmental health issues, but the environmental justice issues above all. The folks that are breathing this air in the community are not some far-fledged group. I live in the Eastern Coachella Valley. My family lives in Mecca. I have family who's in North Shore. This is a public health crisis now that needs to be addressed. And so we need to have the healthcare professionals that are working with our communities to address the issues around asthma and the particulate matter that we're breathing, but also find those mitigation strategies that are truly addressing the sea, mitigating the dust, ensuring that we are taking the steps to build the perimeter lake strategy, that we're looking at ways to bring in water, that we're looking at ways to continue to address the habitat issues that exist there. And so again, I think you need somebody who is thoughtful, who can actually approach this in a way that is an educated approach to the sea, but also has the leadership skills to fully implement the plans and hold those accountable to ensure that the funding is used responsibly to address the issues around the sea. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now we can hear from Anna.
Well, Salton Sea is the issue, but Salton Sea alone is not creating all the bad quality of air. We have other sources, our agriculture. The problem is that we are building warehouses everywhere. This is our number one economy here, building warehouses so thousands of trucks can bring the stuff here. That creates more pollution too. But for Salton Sea, I have been here for 20 years, been talking about it, and we have not implemented the basic strategies. I go to all the public hearings, there were many of them, and there is lots of people disagree. But you have to see what is really realistic. How can you solve it? Because that number of millions are not going to do the job. If you're talking about bringing the water from the ocean, from the sea, that costs $1 billion, not what we have. Anyway, so my idea is that we should shrink the lake. This is the only way to make the surface smaller. And then they should have done that a long time ago. And then planted many, many trees, and maybe the trees will attract some rain as well. Expand the area for wetlands so you can get more wildlife there. And then grow more algae. Algae are very good for the renewable energy. So we have lithium, and we have algae, and we have thermal wells that we could create, again, the renewable energy, which means we should work together with the public sector to create more revenue, because those are three substances that we make us lots of money. But we have let Tesla leave the area. They could have got, a factory to produce the lithium for the batteries, but they went to Reno, Nevada, because they did not comply with what he wanted to do. And that was a big missed opportunity. So which means we have to work on a solution that will work out, not fantasizing and saying we're going to bring the water from the sea, we're going to do that, whatever. It's not going to happen. So we should do what I said that we should do, then that will be much better way. Because we cannot fill up the whole lake, there's no way we can do it.
Thank you, Anna. We know that this is another really big issue, but with the Salton Sea comes a lot of health issues, and most of our communities here can't afford most affordable health care. So this is where my other question comes. How can California improve healthcare access and coverage for Californians? I know that you have a healthcare background, a healthcare profession, so I'd like to hear from you first, Anna.
We need more community clinics. We need a clinic in every high school, and many of them will be staffed by nurse practitioners, because nurse practitioners are educated how to provide the real care and come education and prevention, not just giving you drugs and medication. That's all most of the doctors do. They don't have time to get involved in the educational process because they are paid at higher rate than the nurse practitioners. And then every clinic you could have one primary physician as well, to oversee. And that would help everybody because people wouldn't have to wait to make an appointment because you don't have enough doctors in the first place. But if you have a community clinic, you just walk in. This is how they do it in other industrial countries. And high school students, they could have a place for themselves, for the clinic right there. We have a big problem with mental issues and depression among people 18 to 24 and 16 to 18. So that is to start, this is what you do. You build more community clinics, and you would have more nurse practitioners. You cannot bring the doctors, there are not enough doctors, unless you're going to steal them from overseas. But take them 5 years to get recertified here. So that is my solution. Community clinics would solve a lot of problems. You just walk in, and then you are.
Thank you. Can we hear from Elizabeth now?
Yes, of course. First and foremost, prevention is important. We need to ensure that we're having the conversations up front about preventive strategies. I started my career at 15 with Planned Parenthood as a youth promotora pro salud, and in that I was out in the community ensuring that my colleagues, my peers were actually making health-informed decisions. So I really believe in the means building more parks, ensuring that our families have access to healthier food, that we have quality water. And I know that those may not seem like things that are part of changing the healthcare system, but when people have the tools in their community to live healthful lives, that really ensures that we're not overusing our healthcare system. And if we all want to have a better quality of life, it's important that we address issues like food deserts, that we deal with the water quality issues that exist, that we deal with the fact that our communities also don't have adequate transportation and sidewalks to recreate. So that's important for me out front. I think as far as the actual healthcare system, delivery system, we really need to ensure that we're working as a state to build a system that's getting towards the health for all. And I believe in those tenets, but I also believe it's important to have a responsible, system that we can afford the rolling out of health for all coverage for everyone. And so in doing that, you have to really work with people on the health committee and have the ability to have these really tough conversations, because coverage is one of those things that, as the system currently exists, obviously we have insurance companies at the forefront of that. I think we need to take the steps in the state to once again take the lead and ensure that we're holding all of these corporations accountable so that we are working to expand access. I believe in expanding access to all people. I think it's important that we also build out our mental health systems and have the ability to have a holistic health system that's built so that it's not just one strategy sort of monolithic, but that we look at health in a very broad way that can, I'll let you. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Sorry if I'm cutting you guys off. We just want everybody
These
to
are
answer
important
questions.
issues.
Yeah.
These are really deep, important issues, and you want to have a thoughtful conversation.
You're right. These are very deep, important issues. Another one that we really want to discuss and have the candidates discuss is a topic that has been an important topic, but also one that's been very popular in our administration, which is immigration. And we want to know basically what are your views about the state's role in immigration, and what issues or policies will you move or support which regard immigrant residents of California, since we do live by a border, and there are thousands of immigrants living here, and there are thousands of immigrants who are trying to make their way here. So immigration is a big topic. So Anna, if we can start with you, and go ahead.
Well, immigration is basically a federal problem, but we can do a lot in the state. We should protect the people who are here. There should be no discrimination. Everybody should get their health care and education and everything just like anybody else. We already have a possibility that people have their driver's licenses, which is great. And, I know the federal government, I sure hope, I wish that they don't spend billions of dollars locking people up, because everybody has a family member here. It would be much cheaper to let them go to their family, household and then track them down where they are, and, so that's not my job. That's what I will do, And with Code Kids, this is an organization, Women for Peace. We went to Tijuana and we organized to, give the hygienic thing that we made a dinner for people who are there in the Tijuana camps. And then we all should get involved as citizens here as well, to collect things and go to the closer place to us, because they're in miserable conditions. That should be our human nature, that we should help the suffering, the necessary suffering, as much as we can. And then secondly, we should work together with governments from Guatemala and Honduras and El Salvador to see what can we do to help. They need more money for police, or they need more money for economic development. They should do, because we're already wasting billions of dollars, what they're doing now by locking people up. And that would be much cheaper to invest that money in the economic development of the countries where they are. So I am, not able to do anything about that, but we are able as a state to do that. We have our own budget, and we should get together ourselves and see what we can do, not depend on the federal government. But otherwise, we cannot deal with that, so this is not our, sphere of influence. We cannot do anything about their decision. But we can do as people, talking to the governments to provide the economic support that they need so the people wouldn't have the reason to flee in such large numbers.
Thank you, Anna. We can hear from Elizabeth now.
Esta la voy a contestar también en español porque pienso que es importante. Como hija de padres inmigrantes, mi mamá es del Salvador, mi papá es de México. Es muy importante asegurarnos que tengamos representantes que en realidad representan a nuestras comunidades. Mi abuelito llegó a este país en los años 40 como bracero y es algo que nosotros hemos establecido un futuro para nuestra familia gracias a estar en este país. Y para mí es importante que tengamos las protecciones para nuestras comunidades inmigrantes, como el Estado, que tengamos la habilidad de proteger y respetar a nuestras comunidades y asegurarnos que estemos trabajando y buscando soluciones para el sistema federal, para que todas las personas tengan la habilidad de vivir en este país. As the daughter of immigrants, my mother's from El Salvador, my father is from Mexico. My grandfather came over to the U.S. in the 1940s as a bracero. I believe it's important that we address the issues of immigration as a state and continue to support and protect our immigrant brothers and sisters. I also believe that it's important that we serve as vocal advocates to ensure that we have comprehensive immigration reform federally, and I plan to continue to champion that and work with my voice to ensure that we continue to move towards a place that we no longer have these immigrant backlogs, that we don't have the issues that we're experiencing at the border. This is a personal issue for me, beyond words, and I can, my family has come over seeking asylum. And so this is an issue that's very important to me. My cousin, unfortunately, was dealt with a very challenging situation in El Salvador and had to seek asylum. And so I've experienced firsthand what this is and what the challenges are of our immigration system. I've also had family members right now who are trying to come over lawfully just to visit us. My aunt she's gone to request a visitor's visa over 4 times, paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars in El Salvador, in a third world country. And she's been denied every time. So we're trying to do things correctly, but we have a system that's broken that needs to be addressed, and we need to have leaders who are at all levels, at the local, state, and federal level, who are willing to stand up and ensure that we have a system that works for all of us. Our country was built on immigrants' backs, and I want to make sure that we continue to work towards a solution now and in the future.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We're going to move on to AB 5, which is an assembly bill that took effect in the 1st of January. Now, AB 5, it's basically is designed to protect employees from being misclassified as independent contractors by employers seeking to avoid paying for benefits. So, what's your position on recently enacted AB 5 and the increasing minimum wage? And how will these policies affect businesses, workers, and the state economy in general? If we can hear from Elizabeth first.
Definitely. Well, we know that AB 5 has already been codified into law, so it is, currently the law. It's not necessarily something that we're debating at this point. I think what's important to highlight in AB 5 is that, one, it's an ability for people who were otherwise misclassified and mistreated in the system have the ability to actually receive the wages that they deserve, which I believe it's important that we have those conversations, because as we're talking about the state's affordability crisis, these policies are important to ensure that our folks that are, have these gig economies or are working in misclassified settings are able to actually receive full payment for the work that they do, the lawful work that they do, and receive the benefits that come with that. So I know that it's been a source of contention in terms of, AB 5 hurting business, but I think what's important is also that this has already been codified through the courts. So this AB 5 is actually a law that was enacted that is following the court order. There are also exemptions in AB 5 for those that are truly independent contractors. I know there's a lot of concerns about people having the autonomy to actually pursue the roles that they have as contractors, your musicians, people who are working in trucking sector, those that are working in gig economies. If that is a truly independent contractor, there are exemptions in this law that allow you to continue to operate as such. But I think what's important at the core of this conversation is having jobs that provide us livable wages with benefits so that people don't have to have 3 to 5 jobs to make ends meet. So that's why I think AB 5 is an important law that's been passed recently, and we need to, again, keep moving towards a place that we also continue to support unionization in the workplace and giving people the tools that they need to be represented while supporting also businesses. And that's really important. We have to also give these small businesses the opportunity to have the exemptions that they need to continue to thrive in our communities.
Thank you, Elizabeth. If we can hear from Anna now.
Well, AB 5, that will go far enough. The whole point is, it is Amazon, it is all the food chains, it's all real estate, all the department stores, they all hire part-time employees and they pay no benefits. So that should have to change, because you have, but they didn't go in that direction, because I'm talking to too many young people. They're working for Amazon and they're working 4 hours a day. They have no benefits, no health care, no nothing, which means we should go far enough. They have to provide health care coverage. They have to have an IRA open to them, 401k or whatever, and then they should have matching funds, because our young people are in the worst condition. They are young, they don't understand. If, they're working for that minimum wage, which is not enough to even pay the rent. But if they have their 401k already at the age of 20 and 22, and then every company has to match, I'm talking about the big corporations. Can you imagine in 30 years how much money they would have? This way they have zero. So it didn't go far enough, if you ask me.
Thank you, Anna. Moving on to our next question, which is education. Education is basically an important factor in our life, not only for our kids, our family, but everyone. So we want to know, what's your vision in improving educational opportunities and achievement in California? Since this is super big and we want everyone to be educated, that's how we know where we come from, what we value in life, and what we've sort of learned. So, Anna, if you can answer.
We are starting some vocational training, but unfortunately we didn't start it in time, but it's never too late. We should have more vocational training at every university and state colleges, because many kids don't want to go to college, and why would they have to go to college when they can make more money in those other professions? So that should be really, we should provide more funding for that. And second, as I said, if a child is behind in their academic studies, get them help when they are 7 and 8 years old. Do not wait for them to drop out and become, their self-esteem will get affected already at that age, and they will become teen parents, and they will become drug addicts. So again, invest in education, but preventative measures. See, the problem is here, they do not invest money in prevention, but every dollar of prevention is $7 a cure. If they become drug addicts, they end up in a prison, and that is a very, very costly. Or they become drug addicts again. So prevention is the key. But they don't have any good classes, health classes in school at all. That should everything be started when they are young. The young kids are so impressionable, because I did some after school programs with young kids, and they are unbelievable. They're smarter than us, to be honest. We always say they're children, but they have a different approach on life than we do, because they're innocent. And they comprehend everything. When I talk about alcohol, I talk about smoke, when I talk about drugs, you explain to them what is going to happen to their bodies when they do those things. You just say, oh, don't do it. This is what we do. And they say, oh, yeah, I'm never going to smoke. I'm never going to drink, at that age. They are just unbelievable kids. So we have to start education early. But as I said, they don't even have a health class that should explain what happened to you if you, how you get diabetes. You are overweight, you eat the wrong food. You have to tell the consequences of your actions, which you do not emphasize. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Now we can hear from Elizabeth.
Yeah, so I'll start with the things that we've done that I'm proud of in education, and then my vision is actually far-reaching, but definitely I'm proud of the fact that we have one of the highest high school graduation rates in the state of California here in Riverside County. Under my leadership as a school board member, we've rolled out strategies that help ensure that students also have, so we're at about 90.3% for graduation rate here in Riverside County, and I'm very proud of that. We still have a ways to go. Of course, we want to get to a point where we're 100% graduation rate, and we should stop at nothing less. I also am proud of the fact that we started working on issues of restorative justice and ensuring that we have ethnic studies and proper acknowledgement of our histories under my leadership. While I was a school board member at Coachella Valley Unified School District, we worked on, alongside actually then colleague Manuel Perez, we worked on a strategy to ensure that we had wraparound counseling for our students even before restorative justice was a conversation. And that's something that's still in place. The partnership between the school district and Riverside County Latino Commission is making real inroads to impacting our communities. And I'm really proud of that record. My vision is one that would have all children, 0 to 5, have the ability to have high quality childcare and preschool. That's incredibly important to giving our kids a starting chance that is equitable and fair. And I'm the mother of a 14-month-old, and I want all children to have the same level of opportunities that my Aaroncito is having. So that's really important to me. I also believe that we need to close achievement gaps in between K through 12th grade. We have to have all students having the same access to a quality education. What does that mean? Making sure that kids who need remediation have it. Ensuring that we have after-school programs, that we also have the ability for students who are high achieving to take those AP classes. I always say that I know the comment is made that not everybody's going to go to college, but every child should have the ability to make that decision and it be their own, not one that the system has made for them, so that they, if they decide, you know, I want to pursue something different, they've actually had the access to the high quality education. And lastly, I think it's important to also have affordable college and university and post-secondary education and career technical education in our schools that allow for students to enter apprenticeships so that they can get the real world career exposure that they need.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Anna. This really does conclude the questions that we had for both of our candidates, but I just want to reiterate if there was any questions for live stream. Do we have any? Marco? Christian? None? Okay, well. So first I want to say thank you to Anna and Elizabeth for being here. As I've said before, you know, it is really important to hear from candidates who are running for state senate, especially for District 28, because it does affect sort of the problems that we have, that our community is going through in our district. So we want to know that what they have planned is something that's suitable for the community. With that said, I also want to thank Comité Latino and East-West Alliance and Malas for being here present and also hearing the candidates. For the candidates that couldn't make it, I also want to say thank you for at least, you know, emailing us back and knowing that, you know, it is a busy schedule. But for you, I thank you guys for being here. And Univision for putting this up. This is a great forum for everyone to hear and for also for you guys to share. If I missed anyone or anything, I'm so sorry, but thank you all for coming, and I hope that this really helped and you guys enjoyed it as well. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you everybody for being here.
You gotta
Pues estaría bien que les agarrara las dos nada más.
Decían, su voz estaba bien deep, dice.
Bueno, amigos de las redes sociales, concluyó el foro ya que contestaron las preguntas que algunos de ustedes hicieron y que aparte los residentes de aquí del Valle de Coachella prehicieron para los candidatos que estuvieron presentes con nosotros el día de hoy. Aquí tengo con nosotros a una residente aquí del Valle de Coachella que estuvo presente escuchando a estas dos candidatas. A ver, Samantha, nada más, ¿qué te pareció o crees que esa es una muy buena oportunidad para que decidan por quién vas a votar, verdad?
Me pareció muy bueno las dos candidatas que escuché. Tienen mucho que ofrecer y tienen muchos planes que pues nos beneficien en la comunidad, especialmente para los jóvenes más de mi generación, porque obviamente todos de aquí eran ya más grandes que yo, para que se involucren y que les den más motivo para que voten y para que se involucren en las comunidades.
Perfecto, me acabas de decir un punto importante de que es la participación de los jóvenes y a pesar de la gente que estamos mirando aquí, creo que tú fuiste una de las pocas jóvenes que estuvieron presentes, ¿verdad? ¿Crees que los jóvenes deberían de involucrarse un poquito más en esa participación de la política?
Mucho. Al fin y al cabo todo lo que está pasando ahorita nos va a afectar a nosotros en el futuro y todas las reelecciones de todos los senadores o del gobernador nos van a afectar todos. Es muy importante que nosotros como más la generación más futura que se nos involucre a todo lo que estamos haciendo nosotros.
¿Qué te pareció que solo dos de los candidatos estuvieron estar presentes? ¿Te gustaría que hubieran estado los 5?
Sí, me faltó escuchar más a los otros, porque sí me convencieron, pero no, todavía sé que hay otros que pueden dar más.
Perfecto, muchísimas gracias, Samantha. Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes que estuvieron pendientes durante esa transmisión que tuvimos en vivo en las redes sociales aquí en el foro para los dos candidatos que estuvieron presentes que van a correr para el distrito número 28 del Senado de California. Yo soy Cristian Gómez de Univisión Notivalle.